Welcome! This is a quick video to guide you through the GOSOSY life skill lessons. Life skill lessons are designed to be used with teens, out-of-school youth, and adults. They consist of bilingual instructional packets that include teaching plans, an introductory lesson, guided practice, useful vocabulary, practice dialogues, and pre-post assessments. The life skill lesson non-sequential format lends itself to the limited time and intermittent attendance of the students. The lessons were all written in the basic format for easy, ready-to-use instruction. They can be used in a variety of ways, including small group instruction, one-on-one tutoring, ELL classes, home visits, and in adult education classes. The topics of life skill lessons vary from health and safety, parenting issues, legal assistance, financial responsibility, and more. Their purpose is to increase the awareness and knowledge of that particular life skill topic. All lessons are available bilingually in English and Spanish. All lessons and their materials can be found on the GOSOSY website at osoymigrant.org. To get to the lessons, click the Practitioner menu on the left-hand column. Then click Instructional Resources. You can access the life skill lessons under the heading Life Skills. Now, let's take a closer look at the format of the lessons. Each life skill lesson includes a detailed lesson plan outlining the materials, instruction, and estimated time for the lesson. In the lesson plan, you will see the goals or objectives. Goals are broad, generalized statements about what is to be learned. Think of them as the target to be reached. Objectives are like tools that you can use to make sure you reach your goals. They are the arrows you shoot towards your goal. For example, in this lesson, the objective is to teach migratory and seasonal workers their rights when working in the field, and the goal is to learn more about the Workers' Protection Standard. Here's a teaching tip. Post the lesson goals and objectives in student-friendly language to remind students, and you, of the purpose of your lesson. It also helps to check back on your goal at the end of the lesson to see if you've accomplished it. The lesson plans also list all of the necessary materials. You will want to prepare these ahead of time. Keep in mind that you may not have all of the materials, so be flexible and get creative. The last part of the lesson plans outline the introduction, instructions for guided and independent learning, and a closing or concept check. You will want to keep this handy while you are teaching to keep things on track. All right, step 1, introduce the topic. This is the opening of your lesson where you ask students some essential questions to get them thinking about the topic and see what they may already know. See some of the examples below. Teaching tip. After asking a question, give the students a few seconds to think about their answers before asking them to raise their hands or respond. This is called wait time. If teaching in a small group, you could also have them turn and talk to a partner so that they can get ideas from each other and feel confident before answering aloud. Once they feel comfortable, you can ask them to share with the group. Another teaching tip is to use a graphic organizer to help generate and map students' ideas and create a language-rich visual. You can jot down students' ideas as they share out, or ask more advanced students to create their own graphic organizers. Here's an example of a simple graphic organizer called a web. It has the essential question in the middle and students' ideas stemming from the center. This strategy helps you understand how much the students already know about the topic. It's also a great way to encourage students to speak and listen to each other. The next part of the lesson is administering the pre-assessment. The assessments all include 5 questions, written as yes or no, true, false, or multiple choice. Once the students take the test, you can review the answers together. This will help you gain an understanding on what students already know and what you will need to focus on during the lesson. Don't forget to record how many questions the students got correct on the Student Assessment Score Sheet. Now we move on to Step 2, reading the text. Within every lesson, there are a couple pages of informative text on the subject of the lesson. How you teach the information will depend on your student or students and their needs. This section will be the heart of their lesson. Every lesson includes specific vocabulary terms that the students will need to know in order to understand your lesson. You will see the vocabulary list at the top of the first page. There are usually 5 to 7 new words to learn. As you read through the text, look for these words to be bolded. The lesson also provides student-friendly definitions for each word. When teaching new vocabulary terms, instead of copying the definition from the lesson, it is best practice to have students reword the definition so that it makes sense to them. You could also ask them to draw a picture, create an example, or write the word in their native language to help them learn. Remember, it takes multiple exposures to learn a new word or concept, so repeat, repeat, repeat. Now that you've set the purpose for reading and introduced new vocabulary words, it's time to read the passage. The way you do this depends on the reading abilities of your students. Some ideas may be reading the text aloud while students follow along silently, having students read the passage to themselves, or have the students pair up and read the passage with a partner. You want to avoid asking the students to read the passage aloud to the group unless they feel confident and comfortable in doing so. Teaching tip. As you read the text, stop and check for understanding by asking questions about the information you just read. Remember, discussion is good because it gets the youth talking and learning simultaneously. Step 3, lesson activities. There is always a 15 to 20 minute activity provided in the lesson, although each one is unique. The activities help the student take what he or she has just read and practice and apply the knowledge. Activities that are best for language learners involve speaking, listening, reading, and writing, so be sure to incorporate those at your students' levels. Remember that you do have some flexibility and can modify the lesson to better fit the student or students that you are teaching. The last part of the lesson is the post-assessment. You will notice that the pre- and post-assessments are essentially the same, so you can reflect on what the student learned from that particular life skill lesson. The post-assessments include a short answer question, so students can extend on their knowledge. Please note that this 6th question is an extension and does not count towards the total score. Be sure to review the assessment and record the post-test scores. You can review the essential questions and goals and objectives that you laid out earlier to wrap up your lesson. Did you hit all of your targets? Allow time for students to review and reflect on what they've learned. And that's it. You successfully taught a GOSOSY life skill lesson. For additional instructional materials, please visit the GOSOSY website at osymigrant.org.